Good evening and welcome to tonight's Common Council meeting for the City of Plymouth. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Whitaker. Present. Hanson.
Present.
Mattsdorf.
Here.
Gilson.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Shulsky.
Present.
Nelson.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda. Wilson?
Second. Mattsdorf.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Mattsdorf.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Shulsky.
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 4 is the audience portion where we have people sign in and be recognized. This is where you do the talking and we do the listening. Tonight we have Amy Binsfeld, who signed up to address the council. You can either stand up there and use your outside voice. If you want to come forward, that's up to you. Welcome to the City of Plymouth.
Thank you very much for having me tonight. As Mayor Coleman said, my name is Amy Binsfeld. I am a candidate for the 27th Assembly. So it is myself. I am on the Republican ticket going against Chuck Gerlach, who I believe you have met also. Another great candidate for people to choose from, but tonight I'd like to just share with you what I stand for. So I am kind of a home community girl. I have been born and raised in Howards Grove, so this is where I've spent my whole life. I have been involved in the family business, which is Bitter Newman Appliance, TV, and Furniture my whole life. I also have a paralegal degree. One of the cool things I think about being a part of a family business and the hometown community, you get to see how many hometown community businesses we have. I mean, you obviously have a local furniture store right here that's family owned in Plymouth Furniture. CJ Meisowitz out in Kiel is another one. Then we can start talking about the big business around here. The Bemis, the Kohlers, don't forget Sargento, Satori, we have them all. We have such a great community, and that's why I look forward to the opportunity to hopefully serve you and others in this community and be a part of it like I have. I am married to my husband Nick for 20 years. We do have 2 children. They are in high school at this point. So I felt like this was an opportune time for me to take advantage of serving my community, and with his full support, I'm taking my chance to do it. What are some things I'd like to accomplish? Well, we all know there is some divisive nature when it comes to politics. Personally, we all have a side. I've already said I'm on the Republican ticket. However, I'm also married. I look at politics a little bit like marriage. Sometimes there is going to be give and take in that. Obviously, sitting here before our city council, this is where the real magic happens. You all have to find things for your communities, and although I want to serve at a state level with all of you, it is just that, with all of you. I'm not there to be a dictator. I don't believe that government should be big enough to do that. We need people who are willing to get out to the communities, find out what the communities need, and take that back to the state on your behalf, but not work against the communities. Whether it's the city of Plymouth or whether it's my little town of Schleswig I'd like to represent, it doesn't matter. Everyone's important, and it's important that we take those details back. So again, I believe we need to not only support our communities, we need to make sure that our law enforcement has our full support, that our schools are teaching that children need respect, which will also help, in other words, I feel, our law enforcement. Children who aren't taught to be grounded and rules end up being a little bit outspoken in the community. I want them to be outspoken, but for all the right reasons. So there's a lot of things I do want to work on when I get to Madison, and if I should choose to, I guess, get there with the help of others, I want everyone to know I want to come back to this community. I live here. This is where I want to be the rest of my life. With the support of others, I want to answer to people, and if I do something wrong, I want to be called out on it. So these are things that I look forward to, and I hope eventually I can help serve your community a little bit better too. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Again, we appreciate it when people come in and sign in and be recognized and tell us what's on their mind. Moving on to item 5, not needed. No items were removed from the consent agenda. Moving on to item 6, resolution. Resolution number 8, consideration of resolution authorizing amendments to $10 million City of Plymouth, Wisconsin Industrial Development Revenue Bonds, Series 2015, OCS Plymouth LLC, issued on January 28, 2015. I'll call on City Administrator, Utility Manager Tim Blakesley for a brief summary.
Sure. So the city entered into these industrial development revenue bonds in 2015. We are a pass-through entity for these. This is just a reorganization of the agreement by the other parties, updating some interest rate tables and other language. We are not incurring any additional debt as part of this process. We're just being asked to make the amendment in the current bond agreement. So pretty straightforward. There's really not a lot for us to really consider here other than passing the requested amendment.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
I'll move that we approve resolution number 8.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve Resolution 8 of 2022. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll on Resolution number 8, please.
Hanson,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Shulsky,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Odekirk, Hildebrandt.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 7, new business. Item A, approve retaining wall easement agreement. Director of Public Works Kathy Austin, will you give us a brief summary on that, please?
So this is well, it was a garage on the backside of Cozy Bar, which abuts our police parking lot. Probably last winter, it started having a cave-in on the back wall, which was causing erosion, and ultimately, if it wasn't corrected, it would impact the city hall parcel. So the owner, Amber, had come in asking if the city would assist in building a retaining wall because it also benefits our infrastructure, keeping it intact. When a neighboring property to the east had the same issue occur, or a similar issue, Public Works actually built the wall at the time, in the early 2000s. So the agreement with Amber would be that we pay her one-time $6,000 to help pay for the wall. She did go ahead and install the wall because of there was a public safety aspect that she was concerned of. And then also there's electrical poles that were nearby and a transformer, so she didn't want any damage to those aspects. So she did go ahead and build the wall, but she's still asking if we would contribute. And then long-term maintenance is on that parcel. So the agreement states that, we pay her the $6,000, and then she has the maintenance on that moving forward.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
I move we approve the retaining wall easement agreement. Wilson?
Second, Hanson.
We have a first and a second to approve the agreement on the retaining wall easement. Any discussion? Alder Hanson?
The funds will come from,
Our contingency fund.
okay.
Any other questions? I think you answered the big one, Kathy, that they assume liability after this point.
That is correct, yep.
Okay.
What was the total cost of the wall?
I don't.
Our portion is just 6,000. The other party paid the entire thing. We're only contributing 6 max, no matter what the cost was. I don't know that we actually know the total cost. So this is our only obligation, one time. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hildebrandt,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Matsdorf,
Yes.
Odekirk,
Yes.
Gilson. Yes. Shulsky,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to item B, update fire cadet program. Our fire chief, Ryan Patsford, did I say that right? Pafford. My apology, is here to talk to us. Good evening.
Good evening. So the cadet program is something we've been working on since I got here last October, with lots of help from Crystal, getting through a lot of the legal stuff. It's something that we're going to kick off for Fire Prevention Week that Friday during our open house. We're going to host applications for that program. As the memo that I sent out to the council, it's to get the youth in the community involved in this, between 14 and 18 years old, get them involved in public safety. Actually, that's where I started, was as a cadet in Holstein. So there's a long part of this that we can provide mentorship for these high school age kids, whether they want to do this full time eventually, or if they want to, go and discover something else in their lives. And then the big part is the retention and recruitment for us. Most of these programs in the area see anywhere from 50 to 60% recruitment from the high school age kids that they bring in. So.
Good. Any questions of Chief?
Do you have any expectations of how many students you might pick up, with 4 or 5? Or?
I think that's where we're kind of sitting, is 5. 5 would be comfortable for our department, just for outfitting them and having enough people to mentor those students throughout.
Great.
So they would do like job shadowing type
Yeah.
of things?
Yeah, we would teach them like kind of the basic stuff of what firefighters do. So some of the basic skills that we learn. So if they ever decide to go to school for it, they're well prepared and they have a big leg up on everybody else that they're going to school with.
Excellent.
Will they be involved in any, let's see here.
Situations.
Not necessarily fire, but also, helping people, ambulance runs or...
Yep, so at the age of 16, I believe they're able to obtain an EMR license, so emergency medical responder, which would help us as well, since we operate from the EMR level all the way up to advanced EMT. So they would actually be a helping hand right away, if that was the case. And we have some really great people that run EMS with us that would be able to help kind of mold those people throughout their career.
Good. Excellent. Thank you very much for the update. Appreciate that. Don't go away now. You're our next one too. Moving on to item C, demonstration of the SCBA gear.
So, graciously, let us purchase 2 SCBA's with the American Rescue Plan funds. So Assistant Chief Mike Kirschbach is going to go through our new SCBA's, and we'll kind of do a side-by-side of what the new one looks like compared to the old one and added benefits.
The pack on your right, your left is our air packs. They're approximately 22 years old for the actual life of the pack itself. The biggest difference between the packs, is these run 4,500 PSI, where the other ones are running 2260, 2,260 PSI. The big difference is that is through NFPA, our governing body that sets that. They changed how long we can be in, how much air we need to have before we leave the structure. Excuse me. For the current, our alarms go off at 5 minutes of air on our old packs for it. That's 500 PSI. 100 PSI equals 1 minute of air for us. The new packs alarm at 15 minutes of air for it, 15 to 20. So there's a leniency to get out. It's telling us faster where we're at. The alarms are going off. I hate to say it, but we're all firefighters. We like to cheat. We're doing our job. We want to stay inside as long as we can. So you go until an alarm goes off. That's the telltale. You can no longer be inside anymore because now your alarm's going off. You can't hide what your air level is for it. For command level, it's a lot easier for us to see where they're at for it. The other big differences on the packs, you can see the back swivels on this. It moves with you as you're crawling around. Frame on this is just a solid aluminum frame for it. There's no movement, the pack just kind of sits on your hips. After a while, it gets old for it. You start getting sore shoulders, sore back from that. So they've really changed that. The other push in firefighting right now is cancer prevention. We're at an elevated risk for cancer in everything that we do. Our old packs, all of this cloth was not removable for it. So this has got 20 years worth of fires stuck into that cloth. We really can't submerge that because of the electronics that are on the pack for it, whether it's the computer boards that are in the air monitoring, or whether it's in the computer boards that are in the bottom. We can't wash them. Through the new ways, all of the cloth on the new packs is 100% removable. We can throw it in a wash machine. We can now decon that. We can get rid of everything that's in it for it, to be able to clean that pack for it and with it. The other largest thing that's going to benefit us for budget is the new packs carry a lifetime warranty. As long as we own them, anything that goes wrong with them, aside from a malicious deal, is covered under warranty for it and with it. We were sending about 2 air packs in a month to go get fixed, to go get circuit boards replaced, to go get regulators replaced. Approximately 4 years ago, we actually sent 4 people from the fire department down through classes, through one of our vendors, to go and get certified, because we had so many broken packs that we could fix them in the firehouse ourselves for it, so that we didn't lose those air packs for 2 weeks at a crack before they were fixed for it. So that'll be the big deal with this. These air packs carry the old ones, operate off of about 10 different batteries that are in them, versus the new ones that operate off of 6 AA batteries. The battery life is is around a year. It's manufacturer's suggestion that we just replace them every 6 months. Where we were replacing batteries about every month to a month and a half for all the batteries on the old packs. Maintenance gets cut down a lot for us on the new ones for that deal. Do you have the mask?
Yeah, that's good. So, lighter mask, wider field of view for us, and then the communication through the new masks without any electronic is incredible. We're able to talk like this to each other on a fire scene and still be able to understand what the other one's saying, where a lot of times we were screaming in these and you still couldn't understand what we were saying. So. And then the same for these, all the head nets come off, so we can wash those as well, especially being the thing that's going to be closest to our bodies. That's a big thing for us to be able to wash and get any of the carcinogens out of there.
Question for you, Ryan. Is there a weight difference on the packs? I mean, what does either one weigh?
The new ones are weighing 3 pounds heavier than the old ones for them. That's our difference in them. I believe the old ones are right around about 22 pounds for the pack itself. The new ones are running right around that 25 pounds for the pack with it. Through changing some stuff, we don't have a lot of bells and whistles on these air packs for it, just because of weight and just because of safety, everything else for it. It's just a difference between the two of them for that.
And the other part was the budget mind going forward is having less electronics on something like this. It's less stuff we're going to have to maintain in the future as well.
Good. Still a lot of weight to carry around.
Just way better distributed through the new SCBA compared to the old ones. Yes?
Question, when you mentioned the alarm goes off, does the commander know that the alarm is going off, or you're just on your own aspect of it?
It would be your crew inside for it knows. Your officer that is interior at that point in time now knows that you are on your low air alarm. At that point, our SOG is that at that point, everybody turns around and the entire group, the entire 2 to 3 man crew leaves the structure. You go outside, you drink a bottle of water, you put a new tank on your pack for it, and now you can go back into work for it.
Good. Thank you very much. We're pleased that you like the new packs. That's nice to know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is discussion and possible action regarding city administrator, utility manager appointment to committees, boards, etc. Alder Hanson has requested, as all council members can put items on the agenda, I'll call for a summary and then we'll have a motion and discussion. Alder Hanson.
Okay, thank you. At the meeting on August 16th, when we approved the administrator for 3 different positions, one for the room tax commission, one for the revolving loan committee, and then one for the WPPI committee, I was wondering in my mind at the time, why are we doing this? Why isn't he or she on this automatically? Why do we have to appoint him each year? And so I did some investigating myself on it. And so the sheet that has the yellow markings on it kind of tells the 3 or 2 areas, because since and I had Administrator Bakesley help me with this, the WPPI really doesn't make sense. They have too many complications with that we have to go through it isn't a city control thing. Where if you take a look at the other sheet, I've underlined under section 243 that a representative of the city staff. Well, I'm proposing that we change that to be the city administrator, and then we don't have to bring it up each time. And then on the second part of it, or the section 2.4, the bottom part, representative of the city staff would be the administrator position in that one. And then we wouldn't have to bring it up each year. I guess that's my thought in it. It's not going to be as easy as, me writing this on and send it in, our attorney or somebody to have to, if it's a suggestion approved by us, that'd have to go that particular route. But to me, it just seems we have those positions. Why wouldn't we just have the city administrator on each time? So, but the WPPI, no, because that's controlled by the WPPI, and it's too complicated for us to do that.
Thank you, Alder Hanson. The chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
I'll move. We discuss city manager appointment to committees.
Not second that. I guess to go ahead with the city attorney to do that, or?
Yeah, Mayor, may I make a suggestion to the motion, if that's all right with council? If the council's interested in making these changes, what I would ask you to do is your motion to direct the city attorney to bring back ordinances with those changes.
So I'll make a motion for the city attorney to work on
Draft ordinances,
Draft
updating appointments.
Thank you. Draft ordinances and appointments of the city administrator.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Mayor,
Alder Hildebrand.
I think it's just being lazy. That's what I think. I mean, we appoint everybody else to different things, as well as our city administrator. It's also acknowledgement to the citizens of Plymouth when we acknowledge these people going on committees or commissions or things of that nature. It's just being lazy.
Any other comments?
I just want to, is anyone
Alder
else?
Wilson?
Yeah, is anyone else ever appointed to this, or is it always the city administrator?
Over the years, there's been others than the city administrator that were appointed to those, yes.
Okay.
Not recently.
Mayor Pullman?
Alder Hanson.
I believe, and I'm not 100% correct, is since we've had a city administrator, it's been
That's
appointed
been
that way. But
person
prior to
appointed.
that, potentially, and again, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe since we've had a city administrator, they've been put on that committee, so. I don't consider it lazy. I feel like the consent agenda we have.
Any other comments? I would add one comment. I would respectfully disagree with the proposal. It may just be an automatic type of thing But I think it reminds us as elected officials of the many boards and activities that our city administrator is part of and part of his job. I think approving these appointments annually highlights the responsibility that we invest in our city administrator, because we are a business of multi-million dollars. This is a business. It's just not a city or a utility. And I think recognizing some of that responsibility annually through the process, I think also recognizes that the city administrator has more than one job or two jobs. He wears a lot of hats, and he does that for us. I think yes, it's part of the ordinance. It's the way it's written. We'd have to make changes to it. I just think that in this case, the appointment process is a good thing. Thank you. Any other comments?
One other comment, Mayor, if I may.
Alder Hanson.
There's a number of committees that we take for granted. For instance, yours, Mayor, you're on the Plan Commission, and we don't announce that each year. You know, as a matter of fact, you're the chairperson designee on the Plan Commission. So we don't bring up all those things that, you know, so to me I don't totally disagree with you on it, but to me it's taking our paperwork and get it completed.
Any other comments? So at this point, are we clear on the motion?
The motion is to request the city attorney to draft ordinances for the positions appointed by the city administrator for room tax committee.
Appointing the city administrator, not,
Correct.
yeah, okay.
Room tax and the other
Revolving.
revolving loan.
Okay, clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson.
No.
Nelson.
Yes.
Odekirk.
Yes.
Hildebrandt.
No.
Hanson.
Yes.
Astor.
No.
Shilsky.
What was that?
Can you repeat that? Shilsky.
No,
Thank you.
no,
Nelson, or Wilson rather.
Yes.
The official tally is?
4 yes, 4 no.
Under those rules of the city council, in the case of a tie, the mayor then makes a one and only vote that he gets to take occasionally, and I vote no to deny this motion. Thank you all. Moving on, next item on the agenda is entertain a motion to go into closed session. For those in the audience, we'll ask you to leave while we're in closed session. If you want to stay and come back, by all means, you can do that. Chair entertains a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85 per N1 per NE, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining. Let the record show that we are now back in open session. Moving on to item 10, discussion and possible action on closed session item. I'll call on Alder Nelson to make a motion.
Okay. I move that we exercise our option to purchase 133 East Mill Street commonly known as the cheese counter building, or the lock building, for $1.
Second, Alder Hanson.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Tim.
Metzdorf,
Yes.
Odekirk,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
No.
Motion carried. Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn, Wilson?
Second, Nestor.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We stand adjourned.